connected.
Hey guys, welcome to Woodzman Adventures. So I just wanted to do today kind of not a review, but a motorcycle versus motorcycle, which is the Honda CRF300L versus the Honda Shadow Aero VT750C. Now, of course, this is not a comparison video as far as they are totally two different bikes and two different purposes, which is the thing about having two motorcycles. So the Honda CRF300L is totally a dual sport. It's actually kind of, it's okay on street, okay off-road. It's not amazing at either one, but it's great to have to do both. The Honda Shadow Aero, of course, is street only. So if you buy this bike, you're just going to do streets, highways, things like that. The CRF300L, you buy it, you can do both. Now you can't do street as well as you would on like the Honda Shadow, and this is 750 cc's, so if you're hauling a passenger, you're going to go a lot better, a lot higher speeds, and a lot better like on highways like 4 lanes. This bike, not so great on 4 lanes, and especially hauling 2 up, it's not near as good. But both bikes are great, and they both have their purpose. And pretty much I got this Shadow because me and my wife ride together, and this bike is so uncomfortable riding 2 up. Yes, it has a seat concept seat on here. This Shadow has a Mustang seat on it, so neither seat is factory. The stock seat on the CRF300L is absolutely hideous in my opinion, and the stock seat on the Shadow is not too bad except for the passenger seat is hideous. So as far as riding 2 up, this bike takes the #1 spot, especially for highway, of course. Now, this bike, you can ride 2 up, and you can ride 2 up on or off-road, but on-road is not very good at all. It's just so cramped up. It's uncomfortable for both people. Back roads, short trips, it does okay. We rode a lot of roads like that and some highway miles, but this bike here, the Shadow, is far superior for both of us riding, and that's why I got it, for us to ride some street trips. Now, I'm keeping both bikes. The Honda CRF300L is my go-to bike. It's my favorite bike. It's the one that I will ride back and forth to work, and most of my videos and my content will be on the Honda CRF300L and not the Shadow. Now, will make some videos on the Shadow like I did the Nelson Rigg gear, which I also have Nelson Rigg gear on the 300L. Both bikes is both Nelson Rigg, tank bags, tail bags, saddlebags. I do have saddlebags for this, the DUALSPORT saddlebags from Nelson Rigg. It's all great stuff, and that's why I use it. Other videos I'll make for this will be a windshield when I get one. Of course, I did put the Mustang seat. I really like the Mustang seat. It's so much better than the stock seat. I did make this bike here where I could also mount my Garmin Zumo XT on it, which is nice. I have a little tank bag here, which this tank bag is not correct for the bike. Hopefully I can get a Nelson Rigg tank bag, and I want to get a Nelson Rigg tail bag that's bigger than this. This is actually a Rigg gear bag that I use for the CRF300L. It's smaller. It's the Trails In Light, but it does okay on here, but I'd like to have a bigger one because this luggage is good, but we need more luggage on this when we go on a bigger trip. I did put floorboards on this bike, which makes it more comfortable for the passenger and for me. And on the highway, this bike does great. And like I said, a lot more power than the CRF300L. The CRF300L for me is comfortable because I am a dirt bike person. I've rode dirt bikes ever since I was little bitty. And this is the fit for me. So we're going to take both these bikes for a little spin and talk about each one a little bit as we ride. So let's go ahead and jump on the Shadow first and take it for a spin. So right off the bat on the Shadow, as far as seating position, this bike is really low to the ground. You have no problem putting your feet on the ground. I mean, it is so low. And these pegs that I put on here, these small Kuryakin floorboards, works pretty good also. So we will turn the key on, which the key is in a crazy place. It's down here beside, for some reason they done that, but I guess to keep clutter down so you can add more clutter, you know. This bike is also 750cc, and it is water cooled like the 300L, and it is electric start. You can hear the rumble on this bike compared to the 300L. More vibration, definitely in the handlebars. Mirrors are good. Seating position, especially with the Mustang, is a lot better as far as the 300L. And if you're cruising down highways, that's what you want. Let's go ahead and put this thing in gear, run it down the road, and check it out. Check out that buck rub on my little pine tree. What in the world? So this bike is definitely higher geared, which it don't need to be as low geared because it's a street bike. It's a cruiser. You're not going to be going out in the woods and lugging around and climbing hills with this bike. As far as get up and go, this thing has it. For 750cc, this thing actually will rock and roll. Lots of pull, lots of power. Put two people on it, and this thing just sails. It is so nice. Comfort factor, very comfortable. As far as these roads like this is kind of a back road here, but it is chip and seal. Now, you do feel some harshness a little bit in some of the potholes because this does not have the suspension as like a DUALSPORT does. But you master throttle on this baby, and it will get with it. Runs good. Now, unlike the DUALSPORT, this bike is shaft drive. So shaft drive is very nice, and you will notice the difference. And what I mainly notice the difference is in the shaft drive is, of course, it's quieter and a lot less maintenance. You don't do much maintenance on a shaft drive, if ever. On a chain, you do. You also will notice that when letting on and off the gas, that you have less slack, so you don't have that free play. The chain, you have free play, so you can feel it lunge forward, backward. It's the slop in the chain, and you're going to have that. Well, you don't have that with shaft drive. It's pretty much direct, nice and solid, nice and smooth. Let's go ahead and turn this GPS on so we can see our speed. A lot better than we can probably see it down here on this speedometer. They put the speedometer down here. It does have a trip meter. So does the DUALSPORT, so it does have a trip meter. And this bike has been getting around 62 miles to the gallon, which is really good. And that's riding 2 up, down through the Ozark Mountains, up and down a lot of hills. That's pretty good to get 62 miles a gallon. So you can take this thing on a trip a lot better than you could like my Jeep Gladiator or a vehicle, and save you a lot of money. So you don't have near the expense as far as taking a trip together. I do love the sound of this 750 V-twin. So this is a single overhead cam per cylinder, and it has 3 valves per cylinder. But this thing runs out so much better than the CRF300L. And of course, that's what it's designed for. Now, this comparison too is for me, not for anybody else, because everybody, each to his own. Everybody has different thoughts, different feelings, or different sizes, and different needs. So for me, this is what I feel like in a comparison. I'll give it a little throttle here. I'm not even in 5th gear. Now I just went into 5th. This is a 5-speed, not a 6-speed, so you're probably going to hear wind noise at this speed. .77 miles an hour. Now this bike, I wasn't near trying to crank it out. and I'm kind of in a headwind here, but um, they say this bike will run around 90 to 100. Some people say a little bit more, but that's more than I need. If it do 75, 80, and it does 80, no problem, down the freeway, 85, 80, 85 all day long down a 4-lane highway. And that's all you need in a motorcycle. If you can do the speed limit, that's what you need. And this bike can get there, of course, a lot quicker than the DUALSPORT. I love the sound of this bike. With my helmet on, it doesn't do a very good job of showing you the sound of the motorcycle. That's one thing that um, my setup with my Sena and microphone in this helmet, it actually is not that great for as far as sound. But definitely got a rumble. Definitely has a super comfortable feel. These handlebars are laid back too. And when I got them, I was actually further forward, so I kind of laid them back so they swept down further back, and my arms wasn't stretched. It was more like this, so my arms were stretched out more. But the way I got them now, it's really nice, and this bike is really comfortable. And as I said, the stock seat for my wife was not very comfortable, but this Mustang is a huge difference. I also added a sissy bar with a backrest for my wife, and definitely a plus for her over the DUALSPORT. There is not one on it. You could put one on a DUALSPORT, but it kind of look funny. You can also add a windshield to the DUALSPORT. This one does not have a windshield now, but I definitely want a windshield for this bike. Probably like a National Cycle windshield. They make some very nice quick on windshields that just come right off and put back on, so you can take them on and off. And National Cycle is probably making the best windshield out there right now, and they make a lot of them. Very, very good quality, and they make one that's a perfect fit for the Honda Shadow Aero. So hopefully I will get one of those pretty soon, and we'll get that installed, and that will make a big difference as far as the highway. This bike is so much fun together. As far as me by myself, the 300L is just great. It does a great job, pulls me around. It's comfortable. Now, I can't say it's as comfortable as this because you're not sitting in the saddle. You're more sitting on the bike. This one here, you're sitting down in the bike. Beautiful fall colors today. It's overcast and rain is on the way, so I wanted to get this video done this morning before the rain gets here. But look at the colors. A lot of the leaves are gone. Walnut leaves are gone. It is deer season. I think it's bow season, not gun season yet, but it's on the way. Snow's on the way. So I won't be riding this bike, of course, much in the winter because it'll be too cold and my wife don't ride with me. And like I said, this bike is for me and the wife to ride together. Okay, so now let's jump on this Honda CRF300L. If you're looking at this headlight, this is the Thailand version, not like the United States version. So the normal CRF300Ls in the United States will not look like this. They don't have the LED turn signals and headlight and all that. But let's take this baby for a spin. Don't do that on the Shadow. You're liable to hurt something, the bike or yourself. And I can definitely tell the get up and go is not there on this CRF300L like it is on the Shadow. This bike does a great job for a 300cc dual sport, electronic fuel injection, water cooled. Nice display. I definitely love this display a lot better than the Shadow because it's a digital readout. We have a tachometer, we have the clock, we have the gear indicator, a whole bunch of stuff. The fuel mileage that the Shadow Aero does not have, this bike has. Now, as far as smooth, this bike is a lot smoother because it's a single cylinder. It's not that vibration like that V-twin. Has a lot more vibration. And of course, like pulling this hill, this bike, after riding the Shadow, this bike feels like, where'd the power go? Because, like, even pulling this hill, it don't pull it like that 750 does. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, for a 300cc dual sport, this bike does a great job. And there's that slack. I was about in this area when I mentioned it on the Shadow, but you got slack when you let on and off the gas, and that's the slack in the chain. If you don't, you got your chain too tight. And of course, you do have maintenance on this chain. You got to clean it, lube it, replace sprockets, front and rear, that you don't have on the Shadow. But as far as fun, to me, this bike has the fun factor. It is super lightweight, nice and peppy. For riding one person on it, it's a blast. It's a blast even on the paved roads and stuff. As far as the highway and stuff, oh no way. I mean, it's not a highway bike. It will do it. And I don't try to run any 4 lanes. I can, and I have, but I don't like it. I actually don't like running the 4 lanes even on the Shadow. I like the twisties. So this bike gets up and goes pretty good, like I said, for a 300cc water-cooled, fuel-injected not two-stroke, 4-stroke. Almost said 2-stroke. I'm remembering the old days. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. I'm sure there's some here, but it is what it is right now, guys. I'll get up some speed on this one. This is not a top speed test between either bike. That's why I didn't run the Shadow up there nearly as fast as it could go. But there's 70 miles an hour, and really not a problem. It's wanting me to shift just because the indicator says to. But that's pretty much pegged, and with the head-on wind here, uphill grade right here, that's pretty much all it's going to do. Get on more flat ground or downhill, you're going to go better. But 70 mile an hour is pretty good for a dual sport and really all you need. There's some trash. I never noticed that the last time I come through. This bike, see, you can have fun on this bike. It is so much fun. I just love riding this thing. I ride it to work, and man, it's easy. Where I work at, I park on a dock, and I can ride it up the ramp to the dock, down the dock, spin this thing around. The turning radius on this CRF300L is super tight. The Shadow, I have to make a 3-point turn. Cornering, of course, is not going to be as good on this. Now, on the gravel, of course, it'd be better, but as far as on the pavement, knobby tires, the CRF, now the Shadow corners really good on the twisties on paved road. This bike, not so much. You better not get over your head. But the cool part about a dual sport is, man, I can ride on paved or check it out, man. Now I'm on the dirt road. You don't do that on the Shadow. You can, but you better not get on it too hard or in the grass. You know how a street bike is in grass. Soaking up these potholes absolutely like it's nothing. I mean, it just feels like you're on air. And the Shadow would probably be beating you to death up through here. This bike was always my dream to have a dirt bike. I mean, dirt bikes. I've had so many bikes, starting from a Q850 when I was young, to three-wheelers, to four-wheelers, to motocross bikes, to old dual sports, like an RV 125 Suzuki. If you guys ever heard of one of them, it's a two-stroke fat-tired Suzuki. Old bike, but that thing was awesome. Two Suzuki DR650 SE and 250Ls, XR250, and now I'm on a Honda CRF300L, and this is by far the most fun bike I've ever had. Beating the Shadow out as far as fun factor, uh, and just overall what I can do, what I enjoy. And as I said, this is me, maybe not you, but 300L to me has got it going on. And if it come down to it and I needed to get rid of a bike, I'm going to keep this CRF300L. And I could get by with this bike. If it wasn't for the snow and the winter and the ice, I could ride this thing year round and be happy. I mean, I enjoy it. I don't even enjoy driving the truck much because I'm a motorcycle man. I like it. That's what I enjoy. Make sure we're clear here. Back on the paved road, and this bike is still at home on the pavement. Watch out there. You still got to watch people too, because motorcycles are dangerous if you don't watch what you're doing. Actually, I wouldn't say motorcycles are dangerous. I'd say the people that ride them are dangerous, or the people that you're out there riding around, like that person in the car right there could have pulled out in front of me. Some more of the beautiful trees. Look at all them buzzards up there in that tree. And there's something right here. Oh, there's a dog. Beagle. Old beagle. Hard beagle. So yes, definitely I love this Honda CRF300L. Two different bikes, two different worlds, and both a lot of fun depending on what kind of riding you're doing, what kind of a person you are, and just basically what you want to do. And this CRF300L, some people say it's a good bike for beginners. This is good for veterans, pros. I mean, this thing is just a lot of fun, and even a lot of people that's rode like me all their life and raced motocross and stuff enjoy the Honda CRF300L. For the price, this bike is $5,200, around that, something like that, versus like $7,200 or something like that for the Shadow, which is $2,000 higher. So for the price and what you can do, to me, this is a better choice. Wouldn't be doing this on the Shadow either. Not near as easy. So there we have it, guys. The Honda CRF 300L versus the 750 Shadow Aero. My opinion on the bikes, both great bikes. My choice for a bike, if I was just me riding, would of course be the Honda CRF 300L. Just the fun factor, the versatility, the lightweight, everything that you can do on it. To me, that's the best bike there is. Thank you guys for watching Woodzman Adventures. Check out the links below. Click the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Catch you on the next one. Ride on.